Aquaba, welcome back. To affirm ourselves in all things human requires a deep understanding of our intrinsic value as God-created beings. Speaking of God-created beings, as the first people created, when do we begin to understand the power of a white God image and the psychological damage it imposes upon Black people? Pushing back against stereotypical imagery was and is difficult and still requires diligence even today. This is particularly true when it comes to images and imagery we consume on television, movies, videos, and the like. In the United States, after the enslavement era, whites entertained themselves with mocking, ugly images of Black people. Minstrel shows were inherently racist, with white people in blackface performing degrading comic skits, including dancing and wearing tattered clothing, portraying Black people as having childlike stupidity. The image of the ugly darky was plastered on souvenir postcards. The image dressed like a servant was developed for selling products from Uncle Ben's rice to Aunt Jemima pancakes. The evolution of the image of Aunt Jemima from a greasy-looking house servant wearing a head rag to a modern woman with soft curls and pearls was a practical business decision, according to the Pearl Milling Company at the time of the change. In marketing microwave pancakes, a company spokesperson at the time said that the change was necessary because the old Aunt Jemima, quote, didn't look like she had microwave experience, end quote. Since the horrific death of George Floyd and Black Lives Matter marches, the company has retired Aunt Jemima altogether. The history of Jemima is explored at length in Manning Marble's 1998 book, Slave in a Box, The Strange Career of Aunt Jemima. But the history of using stereotypical image to sell products, entertain, and generally malign Black people has a long history that is explored in the book Toms, Coons, Mulatto, Mammies, and Bucks, an interpretive history of Hollywood. Americans in Film by Donald Bogle. Speaking of entertainment, as a people, our image has gone from being invisible to defining what subservience, deviance, and criminality looks like. On any given night, people of color are depicted as servants, sidekicks, tokens, buffoons, gangsters, criminals, and straight up undesirables, with only a few notable exceptions. The stereotypical depictions are seemingly confirmed in the litany of real-life dysfunction and crime over-reported on local newscasts, from sad poverty stories to petty theft to murder. A century ago, Dr. Du Bois wrote about this type of one-sided imagery that stereotypically denigrates Black people while glorifying whites. We see these all too common and damaging stereotypes in the form of television situation comedies and endless police dramas where criminal perpetrators are regularly Black. Du Bois even elaborates on the typical storyline of a fallen white woman who is redeemed while her Black counterpart continues to descend. A contemporary example illustrating Du Bois's point is the popular Netflix television show Orange is the New Black, where the main character is a white woman with a supporting cast of Black people, all of them incarcerated. The show is based on the real-life memoir of the leading fictionalized character who now lives an upper middle class life after spending a year in prison for transporting drug money. We all know if the real life person had been Black, the idea that her life would be transformed to one of prosperity and success after spending a year in prison for a drug offense would be laughable. Instead, we laugh at so-called reality TV buffoonery, depicting our half-naked women as either money-hungry, vicious, vain, or stupid, or our men as hungry, ruthless, wannabe gangsters, or just stupid, with neither the men or the women all having questionable, if any, morals. Channels surfing for a movie or television show featuring intelligent, beautiful Black people wholesomely engaged in life is challenging, to say the least. How do we change what we consume as entertainment when it is violent and degrading? When do we decide to limit our exposure to the mind-numbing machine for ourselves and our children, choosing to read instead? When will we avail ourselves of the knowledge of our rich heritage with its inventions, creativity, and intellectual genius? What do these questions have to do with aesthetics, you ask? Well, let me repeat the explanation given by my esteemed and beloved mentor, Dr. Kariamu Welsh. She wrote, "An aesthetic draws upon history, mythology, motif, and creative ethos of a group of people, always reflecting the commitment to the images and symbols of the originating ethnic group." End quote. If we return to our history, we would consume stories about our great empires, from Ghana, Mali, and Songhai to Zimbabwe, Kush, and Kemet. If we draw upon our mythology, we would explore African stories of creation, the universe, our spiritual traditions, and those larger-than-life figures who accomplished extraordinary feats of wonder. In embracing our traditional ethos, that is, our character and identity, we would seek uplifting, inspiring, and encouraging images, imagery, literature, art, and music as a reflection of a culture grounded in beauty, creativity, and excellence. Good people. As subject, noun, adjective, and vibe, I have barely scratched the surface of the topic of aesthetics. Next week, I will delve deeper, discussing issues of miseducation and how it has deeply affected our attitudes and behavior, especially as it relates to skin tone, hair, amongst other topics. You won't want to miss it. Understanding the implications of aesthetics is to begin to understand the dynamics of power, how it is wielded against us psychologically, and how to regain it for ourselves. According to Dr. Cheryl P. Ball, and I quote, "Beauty has power because it speaks to the soul. It touches the heart and influences the mind in subtle and obvious ways. What a society considers beautiful has the power to influence the thoughts and aspirations of a people. The society physically and beautifully wields power, and the power brokers of that society wield it against us. Physical beauty standards are not absolute or divinely determined. They are determined by those who have power over our lives. As we become empowered, we begin to realize that we are born beautiful and need no special potions or efforts to accomplish what nature has already perfected." End quote. Needless to say, transforming the long-standing issues of how aesthetics has been used to malign us vividly demonstrates what I call the inside work we still need to do to heal, reclaim, and love ourselves, our beautiful selves, for the next level of outside change, especially the idea of being unapologetically Black. Poetically speaking, I am Black with no apologies. My withering gaze darkly clear. I know who I am. I walk, talk, and live Black. At times, you could call me blackity black, 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 and I would glory in that. My history is long, my culture deep, the essence of my people, the seed of humanity. A people once heralded, now often derided. Our majesty is still intact, though many must rediscover that. Oh yes, I'm Black, downright African, unapologetically. HOTEP. I am Mwalimu Melodye Misheri Van Putten, and I am dropping the knowledge. Ashe.
Truth, justice, righteousness, harmony, balance, order, reciprocity. 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 Justice, righteousness, harmony, balance, order, reciprocity. Truth, justice, righteousness, harmony, balance, order, reciprocity.